everyone, a very good evening to one and all. We at Sudan's Tech are up with a live workshop on Linux privilege escalation. And yes, for sure, it's for beginners as well, like me. So, today our topic is Linux privilege escalation. So, have you ever heard of it? What is this topic? Any audience? You can comment in the comment section and we'll reply you. Okay, privilege escalation is the act of exploiting a bug, design flaw, or configuration oversight in an operating system or software application to gain elevated access to application or user. The result is that an application with more privileges than intended by the application developer or system administrator can perform unauthorized actions. So, in this new year, you want to start a fresh, learn something new. So, let's start it together. For this, we have our speaker, Adhirath Kapoor, who is currently interning at Mosse Cyber Security. He has done quite a great amount of work in this field, such as dual MS degree holder in cybersecurity with honors. He also published security researcher and Cisco certified infrastructure specialist. He was also a teaching assistant at Cybrary and VoIP Penetration Tester. Welcome, sir. Very glad to have you here.
Hi, thanks for the introduction, Priyanka.
Yeah,
Uh,
over to you,
hi,
sir.
hi, everyone. I hope you're doing great. Well, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on my introduction. So my name is Adhirath Kapoor, and I'm a huge security enthusiast. Well, so I practice CTFs like daily. Right now, my research interests are basically malware analysis, threat hunting, but I do like to learn more about the offensive tactics so that I can be a better defender, right? So, without wasting any time, I would just like to proceed further and get started with this workshop. So, I have a presentation ready, and after this presentation, I will also try to explain everything in a practical manner. So let's just get started. All right. So I'm just going to turn off my camera and start this workshop right away. Okay. I hope my screen is visible. All right. So this is something that I had for I had prepared for this workshop, and this is beginner-based Linux Priv-esque. Well, an abbreviation for privilege escalation. So what I really wanted to talk about was privilege escalation in Linux and how does it really take place. So before I just start talking about privilege escalation and other security related stuff, I just want to talk about Linux first, or Linux, right? So most of the people, they are actually accustomed to devices like Windows and Macs. Well, there exists a cult which still uses Linux-based systems, and well, let me tell you, they're not crazy. They're not a crazy bunch. They are actually, worried about their security, and they're doing well with their Linux-based systems. So I just want to promote this Linux culture. Why? Because number one, zero cost of entry. And just to tell you, I'm not sponsored by Linux at all. It's open source, right? Anyone can contribute to these distributions and you know help make the community better. So it's got different flavors. And what do you mean by different flavors? Uh, so maybe you're just a programmer, right? You don't want the bloatware, provided by the uh, other operating system. You don't want that bloatware. Well, you can just build your own distribution in that case. If you are a pen tester, Well, you have Kali Linux, you have Parrot OS. Well, let's say if you're not into pen testing and you want to be a malware analyst, then you've got Remnux, a beautiful operating system designed just for malware analysis, so that you can practice your CTFs, you can practice reverse engineering and other stuff. And after that, the point that I was going to come on, that is its security. So it is highly secure, right? Why? We'll come to that. And next point, and that stays true, right? That is not that I can bring back machines from the dead. So right now, the presentation that I'm, giving, it's on a computer that is around 13 years old. So the workshop is also going to be demonstrated on this laptop, right? So this laptop is 13 years old, stopped working completely. I just booted it with Parrot OS and works perfectly fine. Like, I teach on this laptop, I play my CTFs on this laptop. Well, like I said, it's an old one, so I cannot play high-end graphic games, but still, I can gets my job done, right? And then obviously, well, this is my experience that it offers a better community support uh, than the other distributions or the other operating systems like Mac OS and Windows. Like I said, that's my perspective. So it's up to you, right? Well, because this workshop is more about cybersecurity, so let's talk about Linux from a security perspective, right? So one of the main reasons for its security is its open source nature. All right, because no bloatware, which attackers can exploit, and that can lead to dangerous attacks. Nothing like that. So open source, everything accustomed to you, and because a Linux system is actually designed to handle multiple users, so it automatically provides lower access rights for the users. Not everyone is going to have the same privileges, and that is actually defined by the supreme user, also known as root. Other than that, it has different security modules because well, according to some reports, well, not some reports, most of the reports, Linux based distributions have been proven to be the most secure operating systems, right? Or the most secure distributions in the whole world. Followed by Mac, obviously, because it follows this concept security by obscurity. And in the end, our favorite Windows platforms, right? So all the privileges that you have in Linux are fixed and defined. So it's either read, write, or execute. Well, either you get all three of them, or you get just two of them, or none of them. Well, but everything is going to be defined in the beginning before you start using the resources, right? And it is highly focused on privacy, right? So because these days in the news, well, everyone's discussing about this app doesn't, provide you privacy or anonymity. Windows-based devices are taking your data, giving that data to some company, and they're making, use of your data and trying to steal your information. Well, yeah, but I'm not going to say that all Linux distributions follow this concept, but there are Linux distros that are, designed for you to stay anonymous, right? Even the one that I'm using, and that's my Parrot OS, that's specifically designed for anonymity, right? And in the end, it's perfect for security enthusiasts, for people who want to go into any domain of cybersecurity, whether it's penetration testing, I mean the offensive side, or the defensive side. So Linux has, gifts for all the domains, right? Threat hunting, Linux got you. Malware analysis, Linux got you. Pen testing, Linux has definitely got you with its Kali and parent distributions. And this slide ends with a but, right? And why? I just praised Linux because of how secure it is, but then I concluded the slide with a but. Why? Because there is something I would say lurking in the dark, and that's this concept called privilege escalation. So, why privilege escalation? I'm going to be discussing that in the next slide. But what about privilege escalation? See, most Linux based computers are actually designed for multiple users to use, right? So, you've got one person, or let's say that person would be an administrator or a supervisor, or as you say, the root user. So, that user has, uh, restricted the other regular users to their own environments, to their own shells. So what I'm trying to say is that every user is going to be restricted to a certain privilege, what resources they can use, how can they use it, when they can use it, right? But there are some malicious users that can escalate their privileges either laterally, uh, horizontally, or vertically, right? By horizontally, I mean they can just, escalate their privileges to another user, right? And try to mimic that user and either steal some data or carry out a very dangerous attack. But then, when I talk about vertical privilege escalation, they can straight away escalate their privileges to the root, and then they are the boss. Nobody can really hurt them, right? So privilege escalation means a user gets privileges that they're not supposed to, right? And what does that mean for Linux? Well, it means that it can lead to dangerous attacks, but the term that I've used here, dangerous attacks, the phrase that I've used here, that's a very vague term, right? I've not mentioned anything specific. Why? Because escalated privileges can lead to a lot of damage, right? It can lead to a lot of damage. You can uh, plant some malicious files, you can plant some ransomware as well. Well, I know a lot of us haven't heard about ransomware, attacks on the Linux systems, but yes, they do. They are few in number, but if stuff like this is keeps on happening, then just like our Windows platforms, we might get ransomware attacks on Linux as well. So that was about privilege escalation. What is privilege escalation? And then the next question should be, how does this take place? All right. So there are multiple ways. So I've only listed the four main ways. Not, I wouldn't say four main ways. I would just say four popular ways. So the first one would be leveraging misconfigured cron jobs. Well, if you are a Linux user, even if you're not, let me tell you that a cron job or a cron is a scheduler, right? That is going to regularize or automate the scheduling of processes of the processes that are supposed to run regularly, maybe uh, periodically would be the best term, uh, and let's say suppose a process is supposed to run weekly. Suppose if a process is supposed to run uh, hourly, weekly, monthly, yearly. So all of those processes just get fed into this cron, right? And cron is going to take care of these processes. So because a root user, the supreme user, is actually responsible for running the cron jobs. So what can happen? Well, if a user tries to escalate his privileges via these processes that are supposed to be run by this cron, the cron scheduler, then privilege escalation can be carried out very easily. And then you've got SUID binary. So there are different permissions in the Linux file systems. You've got SDID permissions, SUID permissions, right? And so using those permissions, If you can, manipulate your permissions, you can easily escalate your privileges. Then, if you are a user, right? If if the first two are cannot be carried out, if the root user is really security conscious, and let's say that root user puts you in a restricted shell because he knows that you can escalate your privileges very easily. Well, he can just put you in a rbash or in a chroot jail. Well, it's a little advanced. I'm just talking about how it takes place. I'm not going deep into the technicalities of this. So you can escape out of the restricted shells, all right, or the jails that the root user has put you into. And then you've got vulnerable services, right, that you can easily manipulate or exploit to escalate privileges, right? So enough of talking, and let us take an example and let's start hacking right away. So what I really had in mind was, not to just take a 2-minute example of how privilege escalation takes place. Let's take up an actual scenario that can take place in this, situation. So for that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to a platform I think everybody has heard about, and that is TryHackMe. And even if you're a complete beginner, the takeaway for this presentation is that would be that you can go back, create an account on TryHackMe, start practicing. So after I am done with this example, well, I have something for you that you can, go home and practice. So let's start hacking right away. Well, I have this room, right? I didn't design it, but this room is designed for privilege escalation. So let me just reload it, and let's say it's a okay. I can add 1 hour, and 1 hour is added straight away. And in order to access this IP that I have here, I would need an OpenVPN connection that would create a tunnel connection between me and this IP, because a lot of users might be playing or practicing on this specific room called Smack Grotto. The name of this room is Smack Grotto, right? And it is visible here in the URL, or you can just see it here. All right. So what I'm going to do is first I'm going to initiate a OpenVPN connection, and I'm going to launch my OpenVPN so that I can connect to this IP, start hacking. Okay, let's just wait for a second or two till my connection is established. Okay, still waiting. What I can do is just restart it again, and this is done. Yeah, happens with OpenVPN from time to time. So my connection is initiated, and the first thing that I'm going to do as a part of pen testing or as a part of hacking, I'm just going to launch the first phase. And that is going to be an nmap scan. And because it is a beginner focused walkthrough, I'm just going to nmap into this room. So what is nmap going to do? Nmap is actually going to look for open ports that are there on this IP, the ports that I can exploit, right? Okay, it says it is down. All right. So if it is down and it is blocking your ICMP probe, so the ping is actually created or situated on the top of a protocol named ICMP. So if it is blocking my ping probes, I will just try this evasion scan here, because there might be a firewall that would be blocking my port scan, right? So let's see what is happening. Okay, still waiting. Okay, let's just wait for the scan. Yeah, the scan is actually taking place, so let's not worry about it. Tell them in the meantime, what we can really do is we can just take this IP and check. See, I would just check if it is situated there on the HTTP, right? If it is, if the port 80, that is, alias for HTTP, is that port open? So let's just check. It's just a hit and tries that I'm doing right now. Trying to open this IP here. You see, all right. So I got this beautiful web page. Welcome to Smag, but no, this site is heavily under development. Check back soon to see some of the awesome services we offer. All right. Till then, let me see. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and the results of Nmap are out, and just like I guessed, HTTP is open, and then SSH is open as well. So SSH is a protocol that is going to initiate a secure terminal-based connection with the machine, but requires a username and a password. Uh, Both of them I don't have right now. So let's just carry on with the enumeration and try to find out what happens next. So I have this room, I have this IP. Let's try to view the page source. So nothing really here, just a CSS file. But CSS files, as you all know, is a cascading style sheet and would just contain how this web page looks, and it just contains the material regarding it. So nothing for me to exploit here, right? What I can do is I can try to manually look for the directories in this website. So if for those of you who are not familiar with directories or files that are there inside a web site, so try hack me is a website, room is a directory, and then smack grotto is the file or the page that I'm on. So similarly, I'm going to look for the same thing on this very IP. If I don't find anything, then I'm going to use a tool, right? So let's not worry about it and go to robots.txt. So robots.txt is going to give me some information regarding the directories that are there on this very page or on this very website. So I'm just waiting for the results to come up. Until then, okay, connection has timed out. Shouldn't happen. Yeah, I think I'll just have to initiate the OpenVPN connection again. Cool. Let's wait. Let's see what is there. Okay. If nothing happens, I'll just download a new OpenVPN file. Just take me 2 minutes. Okay. New regular 2 region rate. Go to view 2. Okay, let it generate at that time. Yeah, apologies for the latencies in OpenVPN. Okay, let me see if anything is working right now. No, nothing is working. What happens when you're on a live network? Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to download this config file and delete the one that I already have. Okay, so let's determine and kill this process and download this one and just carry on with the other process. So I'm just going to go to cd downloads ls and okay, just wait again. Yeah, this is like the second time it has happened to me while I'm on a live workshop. So not really nervous anymore regarding this. Okay, okay, let's try this one more time. Let's just close it for a second. Okay, but I have to download it again. Okay, this is going to be another try, so don't worry about it. Okay, just 8. Okay, okay, cool. So yeah, we're back on track. Sorry for the delay, and we can now get it started. Back again. All right. Okay, now, yeah. So here we are. Didn't find anything at all in robots.txt. Let's try with assets. Uh, Nothing here. So most of the manual stuff, the manual enumeration here isn't working at all. What I can do is I can use this wonderful tool known as Dirbuster. Well, there are actually two directory enumeration tools, the popular ones I'm talking about. One is Dirbuster, the other one is GoBuster, I suppose. And I've used both, but I'm not a really big fan of GoBuster because of the many parameters that it uses. Even though I'm a terminal loving guy, but I don't like how GoBuster works. All right, so I'm going to give a directory list as well, sample directory list, or as you call it, a word list. Okay, but here we are just trying to enumerate, and enumerate is like trying to find out which directories are there inside this very website. All right, I can maybe increase the threads to 20 and just browse the results that I have here. So if I basically, if I find something here, I'll just have some more clues and then I can proceed further, because right now I'm just stuck. I don't have anything to do. Okay, cool. So I got a secret directory. Well, if I had to do a manual enumeration and had to find out this, I would never find out like in my complete lifetime. That is where Turbuster uh, came and helped me out, and it has a pcap file here. All right, so let me just stop it here because it is going to exhaust my processor cores. So yeah, I have everything that I need right now. I'll just close Turbuster and try to see what is there inside this very directory. So this directory contains a pcap file. All right. So if you guys know what a pcap file is, do write that down in the comment section. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to download this pcap file. It might contain some important information. And let's see what I've downloaded. And I have downloaded a pcap file. So pcap file is actually a packet capture file, and the tool that I'm going to, it actually captured some network traffic and stored it in a pcap file. So pcap is just the format in which network traffic that is analyzed is stored. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to analyze this with a tool known as Wireshark. So I'm just going to open Wireshark from the terminal itself, and I'm just going to open this file that I have, the pcap that I just got. So for those of you who do not really know what this is, because I am assuming that this is a beginner-based workshop. For those of you who know, well, you're just refreshing your memory here. So I've got this packet capture, and as I can see clearly, there is a login file that was captured, and the protocol here is HTTP. Great. The person who was browsing it wasn't really security conscious. That is why he went to HTTP and logged in. And let's see if I can get some. Well, I didn't even do much, and I got the username as well as the password. Okay, so what should I do? Should I really just go to this browser and type login.php? Is that what I should be doing? 10.10.217.84. And should I just write login.php? I don't think so, because yeah, this doesn't even exist. Let's go back to my packet capture file. All right, and the easiest way to do this would be to analyze the complete TCP stream that I have here. What I can do is just go here and analyze this TCP stream. All right, so by analyzing this TCP stream, what I really got here was a host. It's like a website, development.smack.thm. Great. And then a post request was made to this very file on the website. Cool. And then somebody was not really security conscious entered their details here. Alright, so I have a website and I have the credentials. So let's try to go there if I'm permitted to do so. So development.smack.thm and then login.php. Let's wait. hmm Why is it taking so much time? Am I stuck here? What is happening? Is my OpenVPN connection working? That is something that I'm really worried about. Yes, it is working perfectly fine, but I don't really see any website opening. Alright, let's try to analyze this again and try to see what is happening. So I've got this help desk and password. Well, I know that. But what about this host? Is this host bound to some IP? Because maybe I'm trying to just look for this development.smack.thm and I'm not just being redirected anywhere, right? I'm just stuck on this page. The loading is taking forever to, yep, accomplish what I think, right? And from my experience, what I really think is, I think this very website that I have, this very host that I have, it's a URL. So a URL will be, I will be automatically, taken to some place when I type in this URL if it is bound to an IP, right? Because it should be bound to an IP, and that is what really DNS does. It resolutes or resolves a URL into its IP, right? So maybe if that is not happening, what I can do is I can try to go to vim etc hosts, right? So this is where the network configuration is stored, right? All the binding. I wouldn't say network configuration because that would be a very wrong thing to say, but the DNS binding is stored here in this very file. All right, so I wouldn't be able to do so with my regular user login. So that is why I'm choosing sudo. All right. So yeah, all I need to do is to bind this to the IP that I have. I'm going to press I so that I'm in the insert mode and 10.10.217.84. Right. And I'm going to press Control C, WQ colon, and this is saved. And now if I try to open it, I just got logged in. Right. This is cool, right? So you just had to bind this host URI or the URL to or with the IP that you had, right? Received when you deployed this very room. Cool. So let me use these credentials. I don't know why my mouse is acting up today. So paste, and I need the password. Just going to copy it And again, cool. This seems different. Now I need to enter a command. Okay, what command is it talking about? What kind of a command is it talking about? ls. Okay, didn't get any error. Just let me type some gibberish. Didn't receive anything. pwd. Still nothing. If config. Let me just try cd root. Okay. Well, what I think is, well, what you think, write down in the comments. Right. So, well, let me tell you what it is. So this is basically my commands. This, well, the concept is my commands are being executed. Well, I don't really know if they are being executed or not, but this is completely blind, right? Because I'm not receiving any results, right? If I don't know if I'm doing this right or doing it wrong, but what I can really do is I can upload something that is known as a shell, right? And try to open it. But how would I know if that shell got executed, right? So in that case, I would set up a local listener on my machine. Cool. I just said something very technical, and that is a reverse shell. How are we just going to start creating a reverse shell in a matter of 5 or 10 minutes? Well, let me tell you, we're not going to do that. We're just going to fetch one from the GitHub, all right? Because this workshop is focused more on Linux Previsk rather than shell coding or shell creation. Let's say get GitHub reverse shell. All right. Let me see if this is the one. Right. So we have this GitHub page with us, and now we have shells written in different languages. Well, these are actually reverse shells. I mean, shell gets executed on the victim's machine, and we can listen to it on our own, right? So why not take? It's well, it's really up to you. Which one do you want to take? A lot of shells can work here, but because these days I'm practicing my scripting skills on Python, so why not take Python? Right. I am just going to modify this shell a little bit. Okay, so that is why I'm going to go to my text editor here, paste the shell. Okay, and see, don't worry if you're a beginner. Don't worry about what a shell is, and just imagine this is a piece of code being executed on the victim's machine, and through the execution of this code, we can get access to the victim's machine. All right. So all I need to do is make some changes here. Okay. So connect. Now it is asking for an IP, right? And a port here. So what I will do is, since this is being executed on the victim's machine, here on this shell, I need to mention my IP. All right. And now I need to first browse what my IP is. And I've got actually different IPs here. So I've got an Ethernet connection here, loop back. No. So what I'm going to use is my tunnel connection, right? Because via my tunnel connection, via this IP, I have initiated communication with this victim machine provided to me by TryHackMe, right? But now since I use two VPNs, right, I have these two tunnel IPs, right? So this got really hard. Well, no worries. So what I can do is I can first go to this room and let's see which through which IP am I connected to. Yeah, don't betray me this time, OpenVPN. Okay, so I've got 10.8.114.194. Alright. Let's try with this one first. Okay, I think I made a mistake here. So let me use 10.8.114.194 because I've got two tunnel IPs. Just let me see which one I should use. Well, I think I should go with this one, not the other one. If there is a problem, then I might just change to this one. So 10.8.114.194. Or if I want to, I can also check IP IP address. I still have a lot of tunnel connections open here. Slash 16, 10.8.114, 10.4.20.11. Alright, so what I'll do is I'll just stick with the this one. If I don't get anything at all, I'll just so instead of 4242, what I can do is I can write 1234. Cool. Alright, I'll just to be on the safer side, I'll write Python 3. Why? Because of its major support by all the systems. So I'll just write Python 3 here instead of Python. Alright, and I'm going to open a shell on this end and C minus end listening mode, verbose, and port 1234. Cool. And click on enter and just send it up and check my connection again. Nothing yet. Okay, no worries. I will just open this again. Control C, NC minus VP. Okay, I'll just change this one. Uh, IPADDR 10.4.20.11. I hope this is the one. Cool. So I'll turn off my netcat connection for a minute. Then I'll just log in once again with login.php. Okay. Refresh this page. Yeah. See, I did not refresh this page, and so the initial connection would have been on this one. Cool. I can just fix it. Okay, login.php, smack development. Okay, yeah, things is working fine right now. So what I will do is I will just change this IP here on my shell, uh, 10.4.20.11. I hope this is right, and copy it. See if, yeah, this is the one. Yep, this is the one. Okay, let's just hope this works this time. Python 3 minus C, yes, and I'll start my netcat listener again. Nope, did this get executed? No. Help desk password, and I'll add this again. Okay, great. I got a shell. Cool. So what should I do? So what I really did was because the commands that were being entered or that were being accepted by this by the victim, they were actually not being reflected on the GUI. So what I did, I took care of this problem by opening a reverse shell, right? So I executed this shell, and now because I have a listener completely set up on my end, I can now try to view what is on the victim's file system, right? So what I will do is ls, okay, cd dot dot. What else do I have? Because generally, whenever you are executing remote commands, well, you are initially in the web root directory, and that is going to be where www/html, right? So this is where I am right now. So let me go to cd home because that would be the first thing to do. Okay, now we got a user, and that is Jake. Right. So let me tell you one more thing. This shell is not at all stable, right? So not as stable as our command line shells, right? The ones that we have on our systems. So that is a huge drawback of these shells, right? So what we can do is, if the problem persists or if there is any problem, what we can do is we can try to stabilize the shell. Cd dot dot. Why am I doing that? I just go to cd home and ls. All right, I've got this user cd jake ls. Nice, I got a user.txt file already. But this room is more on privilege escalation, right? And I got the access via remote command execution. No, let me tell you what I got. I got permission denied here, right? Okay, well, let me check who am I right now. www-data. Right, so first I need to escalate my privilege to this user named Jake, and that is going to be a horizontal escalation. Right, so is there anything else that I can do? Let me try to cat it again. Let me try sudo hyphen l, and sudo hyphen l is going to tell me what privileges do I have, but I don't have the password for this very person. Okay, because I'm not pressing control C, because if I do that it is just going to get me logged out. Yeah, I know it's okay, 3 incorrect password attempts, even if it gets logged and nobody's going to catch me. Because as soon as I press control C, I'm going to lose the control of this shell that I have, and I'll have to redo the process again, right? So, and this is when you practice this, you should know this as well. Okay, so okay, I cannot find anything like this. Let me check if there are any SUID permissions. So SUID permissions are special permissions, just like when you write this command sudo space minus s, you're going to get access to any command or any executable that is there in the bin directory. Okay, so find perm minus 4000. 4000 is actually the number used for SUID permissions. So that's like a fixed number, right? So minus user, and let's say Jake, and I think that is all. And mm, if I find any permission denied error, I can just redirect it to dev null because I wanted to. No, I can just add it instead of appending it again and again. Let's see if I find anything. Well, nothing really. Almost everything says permission denied. Okay. I don't really have access to anything here. Most of the files have this permission denied error next to them. So there is nothing for me to exploit. It's okay. So I tried sudo space minus l. Didn't help me at all. So that I could escalate my privileges. Well, I did not try su Jake, but I cannot just do that because I don't have Jake's password. Although there is one thing that I can exploit. Going back to the presentation where I mentioned if there is anything in the cron tab, right? Because if there is, I can just exploit it or manipulate it so that I can get access, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to cat etc cron tab. Cool. So this is where I am. This is your sweet little cron tab, and it actually lists down all the processes that are due to run periodically. And what do I have here? This daily, weekly, monthly, and looks like I found something. So I have this specific command being executed periodically. And what is it doing? So this is slash bin slash cat. So anything on the line below this, the commands that we try to execute, they're actually a part of the bin directory. So there is nothing really difficult to understand. So this is slash bin slash cat. And what it is taking from the OPT directory, there is a hidden folder called backups, where the Jake's IDRSA, I believe is the SSH key .pub, which means it's going to be his public key backup, right? And that is being fed into, right, Jake's folder, home jake.ssh authorized keys. So from this, I got a clue. Let me, first go to cd. Okay, I'm already in Jake's folder, so why do I need to do that? So let me press ls minus la. That is going to list the hidden files as well. cd dot ssh. Well, permission denied. So I cannot really do anything and modify the contents here. Let me see if I can go here in this OPT backups folder, right? So let me go to cat, or let me just first go to cd OPT. Well, autocomplete feature is not working here because, like I said, I'm on an unstable shell. Backups, Jake ID RSA. Well, I think this is enough for me to do. Go. Okay, so I have this file. Let me open it. Jake ID RSA dot pub dot backup. Cool. Looks like I have this person's public SSH key. Well, I did not really get access to his private key, which would have been awesome. But I believe this is okay as well. Because anyhow, this is being fed. Listen to me very carefully. This is being fed to this folder, right? This is being entered into his folder periodically by a cron tab, right? Because everything is actually, whatever happens in the cron uh, is actually controlled by root. So I cannot become root right now. I cannot go into Jake's SSH folder, but the least I can do is maybe manipulate this file, right? So if I can change his SSH key, even the public one, right? Even if I change his public SSH public key, maybe I can escalate my privileges and at least become Jake first, and then we can take care of the root thing later. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to generate my own keys. SSH keys in. So whenever I do this, I'm not going to generate just a public key or just a private key. I'm instead going to generate the whole pair. Okay. Enter file in which you want to save the key. It's alright. Override, yes. Maybe I had already done this before. Enter passphrase. Let's not keep any passphrase because I want to make it keep it simple. Okay. So cd, let me see where it is. Cd slash home slash Adhirath and dot ssh. Cool. So let me go here and I have this public key. So I'm just going to rsa dot pub. Alright, so both of these keys look very similar. Well, this is actually the format of for how you open up, for how you, how a public key is created, right? So there's going to be SSH RSA followed by the key, and then the user. Like this one is Kali at the rate Kali, mine is Adhirath at the rate Adhirath. Okay, so what can I do in this case now? Can I do this? Can I feed this, or can I replace this public key? Right, can I replace this public key with this one? Oh, well, I said the other thing. I said it the other way around. Can I replace the Jake's IDRSA key by the key that I own? Because maybe that way I can get access to it like really easily. Alright, so let's try. Let me open it here first, and then let me enter the command echo. So whatever is going to be written after echo is just going to be repeated. It is just going to be printed, right? And then let's say my complete key is going to copy it here. Let me put it completely inside this. Why I'm writing this first on the text editor? Why am I preparing it first? Because I have to add it. I have to write this command on the shell, right? So that is why I'm not taking any chances right now. That's the reason. So what is the folder that is there on the shell? Okay, slash opt slash dot backups. All right, I'm just going to read this once more. Just copy it here. Copy. I just hope I'm successful in what I'm doing right now. Let me just first verify this so that I know I'm on the right path. Echo is whatever my key is. I'm just trying to replace Jake's public key by the one that I have. Alright, here I go. And enter. Okay, let's just try to. Did I? No, not really. I actually made a mistake here. I had to copy my key and then do it. So, got really nervous and copied the wrong one. It's okay. I copied his key back to where it really belonged. Okay. Okay, now I believe uh, this is good. Let me open it once again. Okay, I think this is the right command. Okay, and now let's try to open his file. ls cat jake dot pub dot backup. Yes, I'm successful in what I was doing. There is no issue at all. But let's see if it actually lets us log in. So what I just did right now, I modified this, right? I replaced this key with a key of my own, right? My actual public key. I could have done this with my private key as well, but why, you know, go through the whole rigmarole? Uh, I just pasted my public key here. Now this is going to be fed into Jake's authorized keys. So what now I can do, let me see where my key is. Okay, so it's actually inside this folder. Now I'm just going to try and I will try to log in as Jake. So SSH minus I ID RSA dot PUP and this is going to be Jake at the rate 10.10. What is this IP again? Let's just have to look for it again once more. 10.10.217.184. Okay. Where was I? Check it was a new terminal. Yeah. 10.10.217.84. Great. Awesome. So what happened was because by the cron the key was being fed into Jake's authorized keys. So what I did, I just escalated my privileges from www data to this user known as Jake because I replaced his key with mine, and that is how I stole his login, right? And now I'm logged in as Jake. So now let's press ls and let me try to open this user flag that I have. I got it successful. Now this was just a privilege escalation from me to another user, right? But it would be really awesome if I escalate my privileges to the supreme user, and that is going to be the root user. Sudo minus okay. That is going to look rigged, right? So what I'm going to do first, I'm going to go to root. Even though I know this is going to be denied because you cannot really, go from a regular user to root user straight away. Because it took me so much time to escalate my privileges from www data to this guy known as Jake. And then what do you think? It is going to be so easy for me to escalate my privileges from Jake to root? No, right? So I know I would have to enter this command, that is sudo space minus l, just to check which commands I can run, and I can try to mimic the actions of a root user. So here I got this following command that I can enter as this person known as Jake. All right. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to write a piece of code which will exploit, or which would actually be an exploit for this command, because this is actually a command. So I would try to manipulate this command in such a way that I can become the root user, or I can escalate my privileges. But like I said, this is beginner based, so I cannot just create my own exploit in 5 or 10 minutes, right? What I can really do is I can make use of the resources on the internet, and that is going to be uh, brilliant repository GTFO bins. So as the name suggests, it just takes you the F out of the bin directory, right? And how do we know that we are in the bin directory? Because right now it gave us the permissions to enter this command, which is apt get. All right. I hope all of you, whenever you are trying to download something, or whenever you're trying to uh, install, update anything on your Linux-based systems, you are familiar with this apt get command. So I'm just going to use this, or write a modification of this apt get in such a way that I can escalate my privileges. All right. So since apt get is a command which is stored in the bin directory, right? So what I can do, this website is going to help me bypass the restrictions that are on me, because I'm not completely the root user. Even though root has granted me a few permissions, I'm still not the root user, right? So what I will do is I will use this website, because this website contains all the functions, all the commands that are there inside the bin directory. And I don't even have to search anything, because it is right here, apt get. Okay. So what I can do, I can use either of these exploits, all right, or these pieces of code to escalate my privileges. So what I can do is, instead of writing these two-liner codes, what I can do is just write this one-liner code, copy it. Okay, so as a beginner, don't worry about what they are trying to do. They are actually going to help you escalate your privileges. Okay, but if you are interested in exploit development, reading what this is doing is actually going to be very helpful, right? Even though this is a sudo apt-get update command, well, what it does is it is going to invoke a shell for you. That is why it says pre-invoke bin sh, just for your knowledge. And what I'm going to do, I'm just going to copy this piece of code, paste it here, press enter, and looks like I'm inside a new shell, because obviously I invoked a bin sh, which is the shell here. So let me check who am I right now, and I am this person known as root. So let me do this cd root. Well, no problem at all. ls, and there I have this wonderful root flag, and I got this root flag. So basically, whatever we did right now, well, I'm going to apologize for what happened when my OpenVPN connection was halting in between. But this whole process, or this example that I took, this actually simulated a real world scenario, right? And that is why uh, we went along with the whole process. We found something on the Wireshark, then we found something here, something there, In the end, when we got somebody's credentials, we were able to escalate the privileges. And in this example, we were able to escalate our privileges two times, right? One from a regular user to another user called as Jake, and then to another user uh, that was the root. All right. So this was my. These were all the examples. Let me close all these tabs because we successfully solved a CTF regarding privilege escalation, and I just had my last page or the last slide for this presentation. So now that, well, I know most of you didn't understand everything completely. Uh, so what we should do here is what you guys should do right after this presentation. Some of you liked it, some of you didn't. It's all right. It was just an attempt from us to make you understand some of the basic concepts, right? So what you should do is try to create an account on two different websites, for now at least. One is going to be attackdefenselabs.com and the other one is tryhackme. Let me tell you, we are not sponsored by any of these platforms. If we were, then it would be brilliant, but we are not, right? So they are actually free to use. Uh, you don't have to pay anything to learn. And so what is going to happen here is you're going to go after this class, try to practice these two wonderful rooms. Linux Prevesk Arena by the cyber mentor himself. And in the end, there is another Linux Prevesk room that is by Tiberius, right? So if you do this, it is going to be wonderful. And I believe this is what I had in mind for this workshop today. So that is all from my side, and just let me close all the tabs and stop sharing my screen. Right. So cool. Thank you. Thank you, Priyanka.
Yeah, thank you, sir. That was a wonderful session. We all got to know the basics of Linux and its privilege escalation and all the topic. It was a very nice session. And we have some doubts here. The first question is, what is the difference between SUID and SGID commands?
So, well, SUID is basically going to be used for finding out permissions that you have as a user. And well, I wouldn't say that it is similar to chmod, but it is a little bit different. And then SGID is more for the group-based permissions. And like my friend here, known as just another person, answered, SGID is going to be more group-based, right? And then SUID, how do you find SUID permissions via using these? Well, they have this specific number attached to it, 4000. SGID has this number known as 5000, right? Well, I know I didn't go into detail right now, but I'm just trying to answer like very quickly. Yeah.
Yeah, okay, sir. So our next question is, what is UMask by Arun Kumar?
Uh, let's say, how do I explain UMask very easily? Mm, UMask is actually going to, is actually for the files that are, created like right away. Like I would say just right now. So UMask is actually going to um, assign because whatever permissions that you assign initially, UMask can help them in adding the default permissions. I hope I answered the question correctly.
Yes, sir. The next question is, what is the dash R argument used for along with the chmod command.
So well, yeah, it is the recursive mode, and I believe it is going to set the permissions for a directory as well as the different subdirectories and the files that are inside it.
Yeah, yes, sir. That's it. Those are the questions. Yeah, once again, thank you very much, sir, for spending your valuable time with us and sharing your knowledge. And for all the participants, thanks for attending the workshop. And please fill the feedback form that we'll provide you in the chat box. And there is a surprise for all the viewers. So try to join all our workshops so that we'll also provide you with the certificate of appreciation for those who attend all the 38 workshops and all. So stay connected. We'll be in connect with you with more content from cybersecurity in the workshops. Thank you.
Thank you, Priyanka. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, sir.